श्रीशुक उवाच एवमेतन्निगदितं पृष्टवान् यत् भवान् मम नृणां यन्म्रियमाणानां मनुष्येषु मनीषिणाम्.
Hare Krishna. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, as you have inquired from me, as to the duty of the intelligent man who is on this threshold of death, so I have answered you.
Text 2 to 7. ब्रह्मवर्चसकामस्तु यजेत ब्रह्मणः पतिम् इन्द्रमिन्द्रियकामस्तु प्रजाकामः प्रजापतिम् देवीं मायां तु श्रीकाम अस्ते जस्कामो विभावसुं वसुकामो वसुनृत्रान् वीर्यकामोऽथ वीर्यवान् अन्नाद्यकामस्त्वदितिं स्वर्गकामोदिते सुतान् विश्वान् देवान् राज्यकामः साध्यान् संसाधको विशाम् आयुष्कामोऽश्विनौ देवौ पुष्टिकाम इलां यजेत् प्रतिष्ठाकामः पुरुषो रोदसी लोकमातरौ रूपाभिकामो गन्धर्वान् स्त्रीकामोऽप्सर उर्वशीम् अधिपत्यकामः सर्वेषां यजेत परमेष्ठिनम् यज्ञं यजेत यशस्कामः कोशकामः प्रचेतसम् विद्याकामस्तु गिरिशम् दाम्पत्यार्थ उमां सतीम्.
Can you scroll up, Jyoti Mataji? A little bit down. Thank you. Sorry. I got it on my mobile. I can't get the top one. Can you? Yeah, thank you. One who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma or Brahaspati, the learned priest. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king Indra. And one who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitors called the Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. One desiring to be very powerful should worship fire, and one who aspires only after money should worship the Vasus. One should worship the Rudra, incarnations of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero. One who wants a large stock of grains should worship Aditi. One who desires to attain the heavenly planets should worship the son of Aditi. One who desires a worldly kingdom should worship Vishwadeva. And one who wants to be popular. Sorry, can you scroll up, please? Popular with the general mass of population should worship the Sadhya demigod. One who desires a long span of life should worship the demigods known as the Ashwini Kumaras. And a person desiring a strongly built body should worship the earth. One who desires stability in his past should worship the horizon and the earth combined. One who desires to be beautiful should worship the beautiful residents of the Gandharva planet. And one who desires a good wife should worship the Apsaras and the Urvashi society girls of the heavenly kingdom. One who desires domination over others sorry, I'm lost now. One who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma, the head of the universe. One who desires tangible fame should worship the personality of Godhead. and one who desires a good bank balance should worship the demigod Varuna. If one desires to be a greatly learned man, he should worship Lord Shiva. And if one desires a good marital relation, he should worship the chess goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. Sumita Mataji can continue text 8.
Mataji, should I read the translation for the English translation for text 8?
No, I think Sumita Mataji is going to do the the Sanskrit first.
Sorry.
Sorry, I did text 8 Sanskrit. Okay, I'll repeat. धर्मार्थ उत्तम श्लोकम तंतु तन्वन पितॄन् यजेत रक्षा कामः पुण्यजनान् ओजस कामो मरुत्गणान्.
One should worship Lord Vishnu or his devotee for spiritual advancement in knowledge, and for protection of heredity and advancement of a dynasty, one should worship the various demigods.
Text 9. राज्यकामो मनुन् देवान् निरुक्तिं त्वभिचरन् यजेत् कामकामो यजेत् सोमम् अकामः पुरुषं परम्.
One who desires domination over a kingdom or an empire should worship the Manus. One who desires victory over an enemy should worship the demons. And one who desires sense gratification should worship the moon. But one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Text 10. अकामः सर्वकामो वामोक्षकामो उदारदिः त्रिवेद भक्तियोगेन यजेत पुरुषं परम्.
A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead.
Text 11. एतावानेव यजताम् इह निः श्रेयसोदयः भगवत्यचलो भावो यद्भागवतसङ्गतः.
All the different kinds of worshippers of multi-demigods can attain the highest perfectional benediction, which is spontaneous attraction unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord.
Text 12. ज्ञानं यदा प्रतिनिवृत्तगुणोर्मिचक्र मात्मप्रसाद यत्र गुणेष्वसङ्गः कैवल्यसम्मतपथस्त्वथ भक्तियोगः को निवृत्तो हरिकथासु रतिं न कुर्यात्.
Thank you. Transcendental knowledge in relation with the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of the material modes. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment, and being transcendental, it is approved by authorities. Who could fail to be attracted?
Text 13. शौनक उवाच इत्यभिव्याहृतं राजा निशम्य भरतर्षभः किमन्यत् पृष्टवान् भूयो वैयासक्तिं ऋषिं कविम्.
Shaunaka said, the son of Vyasadeva, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, was a highly learned sage and was able to describe things in a poetic manner. What did Maharaja Parikshit again inquire from him after hearing all that he had said?
Text 14. एतच्छुश्रूषतां विद्वन् सूतोऽसि भाषितं कथा हरिकथोदर्कः सतां स्युः सत्ति ध्रुवम्.
Reciters, please unmute yourselves. Thank you.
O learned Sutta Goswami, please continue to explain such topics to us, because we are all eager to hear. Besides that, topics which result in the discussion of the Lord Hari should certainly be discussed in the assembly of devotees.
Text 15. सवे भागवतो राजा पाण्डवेयो महारथः बालक्रीडनकैः क्रीडन् कृष्णक्रीडां य आददे.
Maharaja Parikshit, the grandson of the Pandavas, was from his very childhood a great devotee of the Lord. Even while playing with dolls, he used to worship Lord Krishna by imitating the worship of the family deity.
Text 16. वैयासकिश्च भगवान् वासुदेवपरायणः उरुगाय गुणोदारः सतां स्युर्हि समागमे.
Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, was also full in transcendental knowledge and was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, son of Vasudeva. So there must have been discussion of Lord Krishna, who is glorified by great philosophers and in the company of great devotees.
Text 17. आयुर्हरति वै पुंसाम् उद्यनस्तं च यन्नसो तस्यर्थे यत्क्षणो नीत उत्तमश्लोकवार्तया.
Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead.
Text 18. तरवः किं न जीवन्ति वस्त्राः किं न श्वसन्त्युत न खादन्ति न मेहन्ति किं ग्रामे पशवो परे.
Do the do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us do the beasts not eat and discharge semen?
Text 19. श्ववीरवराहोष्ट्रकरेः संस्तुतः पुरुषः पशुः न यत्कर्णपथोपेतो जातु नाम गदाग्रजः.
Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils.
Text 20. विलेपतुरविक्रमानये न शृण्वतः कर्णपुटे नरस्य जिह्वा सती दार्दूरुकेव सूत न चोपगायत्युरुगाय गाथः.
One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead, and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord, is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes, and a tongue like the tongue of a frog.
Text 21. भारः परं पट्टकिरीटजुष्टमप्युतमाङ्गं नमेन्मुकुन्दं शावो करो नो कुरुते सपर्यां हरेर्लसत्काञ्चनकङ्कणो वा.
The upper portion of the body, though crowned with the silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti, freedom. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man, if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead, Hari.
Text 22. बर्हायिते ते नयने नराणां लिङ्गानि विष्णोर्न निरीक्षतो ये पादो नृणां तो द्रुमजन्मपाजो क्षेत्राणि नानुव्रजतो हरेर्यो.
The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places, where the Lord is remembered, are considered to be like tree trunks.
Text 23. जीवच्छवो भागवताङ्गकिरणेषु न जातुमर्त्याभिलभेत यस्तु श्रीविष्णुपत्यामनुजस्तुलस्याः श्वसच्छवो यस्तु न वेदगन्धम्.
The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing.
Text 24. तदश्मसारं हृदयं पतेदं यद्गृह्यमाणेर्हरिनामध्येये न विक्रियेताथ यदा विकारो नेत्रे जलं गात्ररुहेषु हर्षः.
Certainly that heart is still framed, which, in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place. Tears fill the eyes and the hair stand on end.
Text 25. अथाभिधेयङ्कमनोनुकूलं प्रभाषसे भागवत प्रधानः यदाह वैयास्किरात्मविद्या विशारदो नृपतिं साधु पृष्ठः.
O Sutta Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please therefore explain this to us as it was spoken by the great devotee Sukdeva Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to Maharaja Parikshit upon being asked.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, and apologies if I have made any mistakes in Sanskrit pronunciation. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Shubhada Mataji. Very nice recitation, and also Sono Mataji. Beautiful recitations. I thought Amogha Prabhuji had joined, but I can't see his name now. Maybe he has left us. Let me have another look. Jyoti Mataji, could you give Prabhuji a call, please, just to see if he's going to join us soon?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'll recite the Mangalacharan while waiting for Prabhuji to join us. If you'd like to join me behind muted mics, you can do so. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gora Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you very much. So Jyoti Mataji, were you able to get through to Prabhuji, please?
Yes, he is just joining us.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji's speakers weren't working, so he's logged out and he's trying to log in again. Just give us 1-2 minutes, please.
Okay. So in the meantime, Mataji, could you share the verses for discussion today, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Mataji.
you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Apologies, Mataji. So laptop is still hanging, so can't share the screen.
Thank you,
Right.
Prabhuji. I've just recited the Mangalacharan prayer while waiting for you to join. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. So I can't share the screen. So can I request anyone would like to share the screen for the verse?
Prabhuji, you can share. I've made you host now.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Can I request Jyoti Mataji to share the screen for the?
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji. Give me 1 minute and I'll share my screen. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Thank you for everyone joining this evening session for Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, and verse number 10. So before we start, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Shrinutam Swakataha Krishnaha Punyashravanakirtanaha Sujyantastoiha Bhadrani Vidunoti Sukrusatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Ete Chamshakalaha Pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokum Rudayanti Yuge Yuge Idam Bhagavatam Nam Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakar Bhagavan Rishihi Nishresaya Lokas Dhanyam Swastaya Namahan Krishne Swada Mopagade Dharma Dhnana Dibisaha Kalo Nasarusha Mesha Puranarko Adunoditaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cham Nanda Gopakumaraaya Govindaya Namo Namah Namah Pankajanaಭಾಯ Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye अति विश्वेश विश्वात्मन विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेशु मे स्नेहपाशमिं चिन्तिदृढं पाण्डुषु विष्णुषुं त्वयिमेनन्य विषयामतिर्मदपते सकृत्रतिमुद्वाहत तद्धा गङ्गेवघुमुदन्वति श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सखा विष्णु ऋषभावनिद्भ्रग्राजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्गवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुराट्यहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन्नमस्ते तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गे सङ्गस्य मच्चेनां किमुतहिषहं पुनश्च भूयात् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गाश तदाश्रयेषु महस्तुयां यमुप्यां सृष्टिं मैत्रस्य सर्वत्र नमो विजयेभ्यः ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः हरे कृष्ण Okay, so we are in the 10th verse. So far in this Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. So he has said like, "Oh Maharaja Parikshit, you have inquired from me as to the duty of an intelligent man who is on the threshold of death. So I have answered you." And then further, here for the people in general, Sukadeva Goswami has been explaining like when people are living, if they have got any desires, whom to worship. He has given list of demigods to worship, starting from Brahma and Indra and all the demigods, Lord Shankara, Parvati, and Vasus, everyone for different kinds of desires. And later on, if anyone has interest in the dharma, the kama, so they can worship the Vishnu, and still they have got any desires, like they can worship Pitru Devatas and also all the demigods for any other desires. And also if one is desiring for the kingdom, then he can worship the Manus. Likewise, he has given number of demigods whom to worship. And in the 9th verse, he has been mentioned the Rajyakamo Manun Devan Niritum Tvabicharan Yajhet Kamakamo Irit Somam Akamaha Purusham Param. So likewise, in the last verse, Akamaha Purusham Param, he has given indication that if one doesn't have any desires at all, then he can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in that sequence, so Sukadeva Goswami is now, he's saying, if one doesn't have any desires at all, and if he has got a desire for the liberation, and if he has to attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can perform devotional service to him only. Akamaha sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Akamaha sarvakamo. Akamaha, there are no desires at all. There are no material desires. Sarvakama, if they have got any desires, any material desires. Mokshakama udharidihi, and if he has a desire to attain liberation, and udharidihi, so he is who has got a broader intelligence. Udharidihi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param, and he can perform devotional service with great force. Tivrena bhakti yogena, by devotional service to the Lord. Yajeta purusham param, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of all the demigods and the entire cosmic manifestation. One can worship that Purusha. Okay, so translation for this verse. A person who has a broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or during liberation, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Word, the Personality of Godhead. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is described in the Bhagavad Gita as Purushottama, or the Supreme Personality. It is he only who can award liberation to the impersonalists by absorbing such aspirants in the Brahma Jyoti, the bodily rays of the Lord. The Brahma Jyoti is not separate from the Lord, as the glowing sun ray is not independent of the sun disk. Therefore, one who desires to merge into the supreme impersonal Brahma Jyoti must also worship the Lord by Bhakti Yoga, as recommended here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti Yoga is especially stressed here as the means of all perfection. In the previous chapters, it has been stated that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And in the same way, in this chapter, it is emphatically declared that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of the different varieties of worship of the different demigods. Bhakti Yoga, thus, being the supreme means of self-realization, is recommended here. Everyone must therefore seriously take up the methods of Bhakti Yoga, even though one aspires for material enjoyment or liberation from material bondage. Akamaha is one who has no material desire. A living being, naturally, being the part and parcel of the Supreme Whole, Purusham Purnam, has his as his natural function to serve the Supreme Being, just as the parts and parcels of the body or the limbs of the body are naturally meant to serve the complete body. Desireless means, therefore, not to be inert like the stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position, and thus desire satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this desirelessness as Bhajaniya Parama Purusha Sukhamatra Sukatvam in his Sandarbha. This means that one should feel happy only by experiencing the happiness of the Supreme Lord. This injunction of the living being is sometimes manifested even during the conditioned stage of a living being in the material world, and such intuition is expressed in the manner of altruism, philanthropy, socialism, communism, etc., by the undeveloped minds of less intelligent persons. In the mundane field, such an outlook of doing good to others in the form of society, community, family, country, or humanity is a partial manifestation of the same original feeling in which a pure living entity feels happiness by the happiness of the Supreme Lord. Such super feelings were exhibited by the damsels of Vrajabhumi for the happiness of the Lord. The gopis loved the Lord without any return, and this is the perfect exhibition of the Akama spirit. Kama spirit, or the desire for one's own satisfaction, is fully exhibited in the material world, whereas the spirit of Akamaha is fully exhibited in the spiritual world. Thoughts of becoming one with the Lord or being merged in the Brahma Jyoti can also be exhibitions of Kama spirit, if they are desires for one's own satisfaction to be free from the material miseries. A pure devotee does not want liberation so that he may be relieved from the miseries of life. Even without so-called liberation, a pure devotee is aspirant for the satisfaction of the Lord, influenced by the Kama spirit. Arjuna declined to fight in the Kurukshetra battlefield because he wanted to save his relatives for his own satisfaction. But being a pure devotee, he agreed to fight on the instruction of the Lord because he came to his senses and realized that satisfaction of the Lord at the cost of his own satisfaction was his prime duty. Thus, he became Akama. That is the perfect stage of a perfect living being. Mudharadehi means one who has a broader outlook. People with desires for material enjoyment worship small demigods, and such intelligence is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita as Hrutajnana, the intelligence of one who has lost his senses. One cannot obtain any result from demigods without getting sanction from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, A person with a broader outlook can see that the ultimate authority is the Lord, even for material benefits. Under the circumstances, one with a broader outlook, even with the desire for material enjoyment or for liberation, should take to the worship of the Lord directly. And everyone, whether in akama or sakama or mokshakama, should worship the Lord with great experience. This implies that Bhakti Yoga may be perfectly administered without any mixture of karma and jnana, as the unmixed sun ray is very forceful and is therefore called Tivra. Similarly, unmixed Bhakti Yoga of hearing, chanting, etc. may be performed by one and all regardless of inner motive. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is very beautiful purport. So Prabhupada here is explaining the Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Purushottama. He awards all the benedictions to the living entities. And also Brahma Jyoti is not separate from the Lord. Brahmano hi pratistaham amrutasya avyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya aikantikasya cha. That is Brahmano hi pratistaham. So even the Brahman effulgence, it is the depending on only Krishna. It is the Lord's bodily effulgence. And therefore one desires merge into the supreme personal Brahma Jyoti must also worship the Lord by Bhakti Yoga. So here for Rupa Goswami was saying on this context, Brahmanando bhavidesha chet parartha gunikritaha naiti bhakti sukambodhehe paramanu tulamapi. So the desire, the pleasure one derives when he merges into the Brahma Jyoti. Brahmanando bhavedyesha chet parardha gunikritaha, and it is multiplied by number of times. Chet parardha gunikritaha naiti sukambhodehe paramanu tulamapi naiti bhakti sukambhodehe. When one performs the devotional service to the Supreme Lord, so when compared to that happiness that is derived from the merging into the Brahma Jyoti, Bhakti Yoga's pleasure is topmost. It is millions of times more than that. It is saying Paramanu Tulamapi. It is comparing Brahma Jyoti's pleasure is a Paramanu only in front of the Bhakti Yoga's pleasure. So, and further Prabhupada here is mentioning, as mentioned in the Bhagavata, that is recommended Bhakti Yoga. The Krishna also confirms Yoginamapi Sarvesham Madgate Nantaratmana Shraddhavan Bhajite Yomam Sameyukta Tamomataha. Out of all the yogis, Bhakti Yogi is the topmost. That's why Krishna is recommending only the Bhakti. And in the Sukadeva Goswami is also mentioning Bhakti Yoga is especially stressed here as the means of all perfection. So in the Bhagavatam, in the beginning, in the first canto, Sukadeva Goswami, in the summary way, he was explaining to the Saunakadi sages, Dharmasya hapavarghasya nadho adhayopakalpate nadhasya dharmekantasya kamo labai smritaha. Only one has to perform for the sake of not for the material enjoyment, only for the ultimate goal of the life. Kamasya nindripitihi labo jivet yavata jivasya tattva jnasa naddo esheha karmabihi. We have to take only as much as needed for maintaining the body and fulfill the minimum desires only, not to take all this. Kamasya na indripitihi. So that is also Sukadeva Goswami says, that is all akamaha. There are, it is not a material enjoyment. It is for bhakti. It is Bhakti Yoga for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is in the first paragraph. So Bhakti Yoga is thus being the supreme means of self-realization is recommended here. Everyone must therefore seriously take up to the methods of Bhakti Yoga, even though one aspects for material enjoyment or liberation from material enjoyment. So this is also Sakamaha. People who with many desires, material desires, they also worship the Supreme Lord. For example, Kaddama Prajapati. So when he was ordered by his father, Lord Brahma, so he went for meditating on the Supreme Lord for 10,000 years just to get a good wife, suitable wife. 10,000 years. That is Sakama. So and then whenever the Lord appears, and then he started asking and glorifying the Lord. Justum bataadhyakil sattvarashehe samsignextosam darshananaham yaddarshanam dharma birijyadbihi asa sete yogino roda yogaham ye mayate hatamedasaspat padaravindam bhavasindhupotam upasate kamalavayate sham rasisha kama niryepiyesyuhu tata sachaham parivodu kamaha samanaselam gruhamedadenu Upevan Moolam Ashesha Moolam Durasayaha Kama Dugangri Pasyam. He is asking, oh my dear Lord, people will come with so many desires, but you fulfill, even though it is inferior desires, they come with thousands of desires, but you fulfill them. Similarly, I am also one of them, my dear Lord. So I have come here to get a wife, and so my father ordered me. So this is the to receive a wife. So you fulfill. I do not know whom to select. So you decide, and you give me a nice wife. Likewise, he is praying for a good wife. He did 10,000 years, and then Lord appeared in the sky on Garuda, and having the lotus flower in his hand and Shankha Chakra, and then he's smiling very beautifully and looking at Kadma Prajapati, and then he is just looking at Kaddama Prajapati. Kaddama Prajapati was asking for wife, just wife, and he meditated for 10,000. That is Sakama. When he is approaching the Lord for Sakama to fulfill the material desire, but that is approved one, and he is going to be one of the example for it. So here, a living being naturally. This is for material enjoyment, one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then here further Prabhupada mentions, Akama is one who has no material desire at all, a living being naturally being the part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. So, and also here in this context, when Brahma has started creating this universe, he also got desire. Sakarma bijam rasopraktaha prajaha pranireva drishtva astat visarga vimukastamidhyam avyaktavatmani abhiveshutatma. So to create this universe in the mode of passion, so he is inspired by the mode of passion to create this universe. At that time, he is glorifying the Lord. And then he glorified a vast number of verses, 25 big verses. And then after that, he is asking the Lord is asking, oh Brahma, ask any question, any desires, whatever you want, you ask. Tvayaham toshitah samyag veda garbhasisrukshaya chiram rutena tapasa dustoshaha karma yoginam dustoshaha kota yoginam. So he says that I am pleased with you. You ask any question, any desire, I will fulfill all the desires. And he says, he also advises, Varam Varaya Badramte Vareshima Abhivanchitam Brahman Shreha Pumsamaha Maddarshanam Pumsam Avadihi. So, but after so much of penances, the best desire is only to attain me. He gives the clue to Brahma as well. He gives the clue to Brahma. After so much of penances, only Maddarshanavadihi, just to see me, that is the ultimate. But you can ask anything, I will fulfill all your desires. Varam Varya Bhadramte Vareshema Abhivanchitam. So, and then he says, and also when he glorified so many of verses, the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu in front of Brahma, he also says, Etena Pumanicham Sutva Stotrena Mam Bhaje Tasyasu tasyasu varaprasidam sarvakama vareshwaraha. I am the Vareshwara, I will fulfill all the desires. Whoever is glorifying this. But he again says that Putena tapasa yajnehi danehi yoga samadhina radham nishreyesum pumsam mat pritihi tatvin matam. And everything is only for my pleasure. And this is what all the sages opinion as well. So this is once again the Lord says, you can ask anything, but ultimate thing again Lord is saying, what is it? To please the Lord. That is the ultimate thing. When we please the Lord, what else we would need? That is, and Lord would smile, and by looking at the Lord smile, and our hearts will fill with so much of joy. So that is even though we have got akamaha, sarvakamaha, mokshakam udaridi, we only worship tivrena bhakti yogena yayeta purusham param. Okay, let us see what else Prabhupada is saying here. And here, living being naturally being the part and parcel of the Supreme Whole, Purusham Purnam. So has as his natural function to serve the Supreme Being as just parts and parcels of the body. So this is once again, if we just like watering the tree root, yatha nishechinena taror moolam. When we water on all its the trunk and all the branches, twigs, leaves, and fruits and flowers, everything will be nourished. And also, when we give the food to the tummy, it digests the food and give energy to the all parts of the body. Similarly, if we worship the Supreme Lord Krishna, then all other demigods will be pleased at the same time. So that is recommended. We do not have to approach different demigods separately. So here Prabhupada is mentioning, just as the parts and parcels of the body or the limbs of the body are naturally meant to serve the complete body. Desireless means, therefore, not to be inert like the stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position, and thus desire satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. That is only satisfaction from the Supreme Lord. And also Jiva Goswami are saying that one should experience by the happiness of the Supreme Lord. So this is also bhajaniya paramam purusha sukamatra sasukatvam in his sandarbha, he says. So, but people who are in this material world, they are engaging so many things for kurvanti kamal sukha lesai lavadihina. That is Brahma's prayer. Once again, he says that Dhaivenate hatadhyo bhavatah prasangad sarva ashubha upashamanat vibhukendriyaye kurvanti kama sukha lesa lavaya dhena lobha vipota manaso akushalani shashvat. Just for the time, very tiny pleasure. We don't know how long this body exists, but still within that time itself, they wanted to eat, they wanted to enjoy this material world. For kurvanti kama sukha lesa lavaya dhena lobha vipota manaso akushalani shashvat. For the tiny thing, they wanted to expend it, the valuable human life, with greediness. Lobha vibhota manaso akushalani shashvat. For very long, this is a permanent inconvenience. Temporary problem, permanent inconvenience. That is where this material world is. This is dukkayam. So likewise, this material world is all problems, but one should not desire for tiny things. You utilize the body, human body, for the higher benefit. And further, so Srila Prabhupada is saying, this institution of living being is sometimes manifested even during the conditioned stage of living being, conditioned stage of a living being in the material world. And such intuition is expressed in the manner of altruism, philanthropy, socialism, communism, etc. But so these are we belong to Krishna conscious society. There are so many different kinds of material societies. They have got different aspirations. but they don't derive such kind of happiness. They will be stuck up here. So, and Prabhupada says, original feeling in which a pure living entity feels happiness by the happiness of the Supreme Lord. Such superb feelings were exhibited by the damsels of Rajbhumi. So these gopis, they always get attracted towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead to please Him, not for their sense gratification, just only to please Him. That is also says Nijangam Yaghopyo Mameti Sam Upasate. So Lord says Tabhyam Antarhudi Brahman. Krishna says to Arjuna, so these gopis, they are attracted towards me, and they are I don't know, they are like my father, my guru, and likewise my servant. They know, they relate to me in all ways, what not to say. So likewise Krishna says there is nothing that what not to be like gopis. That is also said in the Adi Purana by Krishna to Arjuna. That is gopis love. It is the topmost love, and out of all these gopis, Radharani is the topmost. The gopis loved the Lord without any return, and that is the perfect exhibition of the akamaha spirit. And kama spirit, or the desire for one's own satisfaction, is fully exhibited in the material world. Like everyone desires, I wanted my family to be happy, we wanted to be rich, we need to be very beautiful and handsome and strong and all fame. This is the desires of this material world. But akamaha, that is Krishna's, only for Krishna's pleasure. That is the spirit in the spiritual world. There in the spiritual world, ye animitta nimittena dharmena aradayan harim. That is the Vaikuntha's feature. Everyone, they worship, and all these the goddesses of fortunes, they are all Shri Rupini Yatra, Shri Rupini Konayat, Shri Rupini. This Lakshmi Devi, she is always Shri just getting that verse. It is so beautiful verse. Shri Rupini Kwanayati Charana Ravindam Neelam Bhujena Harisadhani Mukta Dhosham Samblakshate Spatika Kudya Upete Hemni Sammajati Vayadanagrahani Anyayatnaha. They are worshipping the Lord, having all these beautiful lotus flowers in the hands and looking at the Lord, and they are pretending to clean the walls, which are like a golden and made with jewels, very beautiful. They're already clean, but they're trying to pretend that they're Sammajyativa Yadanugrahani, just to please the Lord. Yadanugrahani. So likewise, that is the nature of the Vaikuntha planet. That is Akama spirit, only for the pleasure of the Lord. So, and here further, Prabhupada says, thoughts of becoming one with the Lord or being merged in the Brahma Jyoti can also be exhibition of Kama spirit, if they are desireless for one's own satisfaction, to be free from the material desires. So Krishna says this one, that Matsyavaya Pritam Te Salokyadi Chetushtayam. Matsyavaya Pritam Te Salokyadi Chetushtayam. And then he says, Sevayanti Napurnaha Kuto Anyat Kal Viplutam. That means there are 5 liberations. Out of those 5 liberations, Krishna says Salokyadi Chetushtayam. Salokya, Saristi, Samipya, Sarupya. And the another final 5th one is the Brahma Jyoti, that is Ekatvam. That Ekatvam, it is comes under Kuto Anyat Kal Viplutam. That is also in due course of time, who attain that pleasure entering into the Brahma Jyoti, they will also fall down. That is Kuto Anyat Kal Viplutam. Lord says that one. So that is also here. thoughts of becoming one with the Lord or being merged in the Brahma Jyoti can also be the exhibitions of Kama spirit, if their desires for one's own satisfaction to be free from the material desires. That is also Kama spirit. And a pure devotee does not want liberation so that he may be received from the miseries of life. Even without so-called liberation, a pure devotee is aspirant for the satisfaction of the Lord. This is Madguna Suti Matrena. Madguna Suti Matrena. Yata Gangam Basu Ambhudav. This is very beautifully, as soon as the devotees, Madguna Suti Matrena, as soon as one hears the Krishna Katha, he will be immediately attracted. He will be immediately attracted. That is the devotion. He has only to serve the Lord. He doesn't have any personal aspirations. And here, and also Prabhupada says, Arjuna declined to fight in the Kurukshetra battlefield because he wanted to save his relatives for his own satisfaction. That is Kama. But being a pure devotee, and then Nasta moha smriti labdha. So, and then when Arjuna hears from Krishna, all with Krishna's association and these words of Bhagavad Gita, Geetam Bhagavata Yattat Sangrama Murdhani. As soon as he hears, he will be completely freed from this illusion. And he accepted and he agreed to fight on the instruction of the Lord because he came to his senses. Punah Adhyagamat Prabhuhu. And he also says the same thing. Punah Adhyagamat Prabhuhu. Deshakal Tamoradham Punah Adhyagamat Prabhuhu. This is when Krishna departed from this material world, when he come to Yudhishthira, saying that, telling that news of Dwaraka, that everything, all the Krishna's family have been now died, and Krishna departed. And then he was so anxiety, and then at the time he remembers all the instructions of Krishna, and then he is relieved from the Deshakala Diktani Huttapani Shamanicha. And these instructions, Desakala Dhiktani Huttapashani Shamani, one would free from all these anxieties and miseries of this life once he hears these Bhagavad Gita instructions. So at that time he would become the lord of his senses. Punah Adhyagamat Prabhuhu. And here Arjuna, he came to his senses and realized that the satisfaction of the Lord at the cost of his own satisfaction was his prime duty. Thus he became Akama. That is the perfect stage of perfect living being. So this is Etavan Yeva Lokesmin Pumsham Nishre Swadeha Tirena Bhakti Yogena Manomai Arpitam Stiram. Kapila Bhagavan says to Devahuti, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Manomai Arpitam Stiram. One has to surrender his mind, Manomai Arpitam Stiram, everything to me. That is the Etavan Yeva Lokesmin Pumsham Nishre Punsam Nishre Sodayaha. That is the best for the human being. And then further Prabhupada says, Udaradihi means one who has a broader outlook. People with desires for material enjoyment worship small demigods. And such intelligence is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita as Hrudjnana. Kamaihi staithir Hrudjnanaha prapadhyanti anya devataha. Tam nimamastaya prakrutya nita svaya. They will be conditioned. When the people lost for their sense enjoyment, Kama staithir Hrudjnanaha prapadhyanti anya devataha. When they surrender to anya devataha, tam nimamastaya, they will be conditioned by the nature. Everyone are just playing by the three material modes of nature, that is making the body to play. Actually the soul, it is not interacting with anything. It is just be present along with the Supreme Soul to enjoy. Purusha prakustohi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan. This is the, because he wanted to feel it, he is just simply present there and desiring it, and everything the material nature is working on that particular body. Prakrutya nita svaya, it is limiting him. That is, and who lost, that is one who has lost his senses. And one cannot obtain any result from the demigods without getting sanction from the Supreme Lord. This is also all including Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, everyone or under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, it is mentioned. Gunabhimanena sargadishu asya yad bhayat, by the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the three material demigods and all the sargadishu asya, Gunabhimanuna devaha, and the Lord of all these deities, for mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, they are also working yad bhayat. This is also mentioned by the Kapil Bhagavan. By the fear of all Supreme Personality, everyone are working. So all these benedictions coming from the Supreme, sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, a person with broader outlook can see that ultimate authority is the Lord, even for material benefits. Under the circumstances, one with broader outlook, even with the desire for material enjoyment or for liberation, should take to the worship of the Lord directly. That is Krishna consciousness. It is pure transcendental. It is pure and no one. It is swalpam dharmasya traite mahato bhaya. Even if a little bit is done, he will never fall down. That it is a try. It will protect him from the greatest danger. So that's why one has to take to the worship of the Lord directly, and everyone, whether in akama or sakama or mokshakama, should worship the Lord with great expedience. This implies that bhakti yoga may be perfectly administered without any mixture of karma and jnana, as the unmixed sunday is very forceful and is therefore called tivra. Similarly, unmixed bhakti yoga of hearing and chanting, etc., may be performed by one and all regardless of inner motive. It is only for the pleasure of the Lord. One has to hear and chant Madhyashna, Darshana, Sparsha, Puja, Suti, Abhivandanaihi, Bhuteshu Madbhavanaya, Satvena, Asangamena cha. Likewise, one has to worship the Lord. Maddarshana, Sparsha, touching the Lord. Darshana, seeing the Lord. This is when we go to the temple, we see the Lord and engage Puja, Suti, Abhivandanaihi in different ways. And if we wanted to touch, how we can touch? Sometimes we are not allowed. That is also said in the example by the Krishna's wife, Dhuranti Bhavaha, Dhuranta Bhavaha, Parire Bhire Patim, Tam Atmajaihi, Drushti, Tam Atmajaihi Antaratmana, Drushtihi, by with eyes, by Antaratmana in the heart, by sending the children. So they have embraced the Lord. When we see the Lord, we reciprocate with the Lord, either in the loving or parental affection, whatever the feelings we have got, we exchange in the Dhuranta Bhavaha in the temple. That is the feeling that when he would derive more pleasure. And then Nirdhammapi Asurudambo Netrayoho, when the tears are flowing, and we try to control those tears, that is where the real love towards the Lord comes. So this is Vilajitanam Bhrugavarya Vaiklavat. This says like a Vilajitanam with so much of feelings towards the Lord. Exhibiting likewise Krishna's wife, they embraced Krishna in that particular mode, without going nearer to Krishna, touching Krishna. From far away, they looked at him and embraced him and then cried for the Lord. So that is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada is giving very beautiful purports, each and every line just referring to so many verses in different parts of the Bhagavatam, the relishing nectar. That is akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Okay, that is now we are at already 2050. So I shall stop here. And dear devotees, if you have got any questions or any comments, kindly share. Apologies, I could not share my screen. My laptop is stuck.
Hare Krishna, Amogha Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhupada. I have a small question regarding the happiness. You know, if the people you mentioned that, you know, if they even serve the Brahma Jyoti, impersonal aspect of Krishna, they would feel happiness. So
Yes.
how would they feel the happiness? What would be the symptom if they even you know, worship the Brahma Jyoti as Krishna?
So it is, Rupa Goswami says, Brahmanando Bhavidesha Chet Parardha Gunikritaha. If we multiply millions of times with Naiti Bhakti Sukam Bhodehe Paramanutulamapi, when compared to the Bhakti Yoga, that is like a Paramanu, that is a Tulamapi, that is that much equivalent. So without engaging one in the service, how can just simply I am Brahman? Okay, that is theory, but where is the practicality? And what do you do in the Brahma Jyoti, going there, and what do you do? It is just a direct question. It is we can understand, because the activity will never be, the consciousness it is always active. It is never like, because it is active, we have got embodied by the material bodies, everyone is moving and engaging in one particular activity. Same thing, it is Urdhvamulam Adashakam. Similar activities are going in the spiritual world, but in the spiritual bodies, and they are enjoying so much of happiness. But here, when they are enjoying, here Rupa Goswami is comparing that one happiness with the Brahma Jyoti, that is just like a Paramanu Tulamapi. That is Tvat Sakshat Karanahlada Vishuddhadi Sitasya Me. This is Karanahlada. This is Tvat Sakshat Karanahlada Vishuddhabdi Sitasya Me. When I completely determined and stand engaged in the devotional service, he says that Vishuddhabdi Sitasya Me. Sukani Goshpadayante Brahmanyapi Jagadguroho. Sukani Goshpadayante. It is another verse, similar kind of verse. Sukani Goshpadayante Brahmanyapi Jagadguroho. Comparatively, this devotional service, he is directly coming in contact with Krishna as a person by touching and by rendering service nearer to the Lord. But whereas this people who measure in the Brahma Jyoti, they are in the effulgence. Going into the directly Lord, effulgence is saying that, which is also depending on Krishna. Brahmano hi priristaham. So just being nearer to the president and staying in the same country, very far away from the president, there is so much of difference. If we are staying nearer to the president, we enjoy all kinds of opulences that president has got, and who are nearer to it, not to speak of it, he is also enjoying more than the president. But who is very far away, staying in the edges of the country and not coming nearer to the Lord, what to speak of him? There is no comparison at all. He doesn't have much opulences. He's just simply staying there, shantam, like that.
So they will not feel the happiness. That's not real happiness.
It is very tiny compared. Paramanu Tulamapi, it is very tiny bit compared to the Bhakti Sukam Bhodehe.
Yeah, because they will have nothing to do. So that's why they will not feel that happiness what they in the devotional service the devotee would feel. So that is compared to that is it's nothing. It's just like, yeah, it's like Param. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Amogha
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Please,
Mataji.
please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhu, it's lovely to hear, because, there is a 5, like liberations, and there's an extra one, merging into the Brahma Jyoti, that I learned something different. I thought Brahma Jyoti and Saiyujya is the same. But
Yes.
Sahyujya is, you entering in the body of the Lord.
It is merging into the effulgence, bodily rays of the Lord.
So, but that is the same as Brahma Jyoti, isn't it?
Yeah, that is Brahma Jyoti, yes.
So there is not separate liberation. There is Sayujya, and then Samipya, Salokya, Shasti, and there is Sarupya. Yeah. So there's 5 liberation, and the
Yes.
Sayujya is like same as entering into Brahma Jyoti.
Sayujya is, yes, entering into the Brahma Jyoti, and also Sayujya and Ekatvam. These are all the same thing.
Ekatvam means they enter into the body of the Lord.
It is that is called Sayujya.
Sayujya.
Yeah, that is Sayujya only.
And entering in Brahma Jyoti is also called Sayujya, or is different?
That is also Sayujya.
Oh, okay.
They are all the same.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Prabhu. Lovely
Thank
class.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Jahna Kanya Mataji. Dhanvat Pranam.
Thank you, Haribol. I find it hard to understand a person who has broader intelligence, whether full of material desire. Now, we have always been steered against full of material desire. Some material desire, yes, but if you're full of material desire, we become so entangled. How are you able to bypass that and worship the Supreme Lord wholeheartedly? I understand about.
Yes, so that is yes, Mataji. So we have got Varnashrama Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So this is why we have got Puranas and all this. The Dharmartha Kama Mokshamsha Sahopayan Yata Muni Nanakyan Itihasheshu Varnayama Satatvavet. This Bhishma Deva instructs Yudhishthira on these topics. Nanakyan Itihasheshu, just refer. So for you, exactly for our character and our requirement, there is one exact replica in the Puranas. Nanakyan Itihasheshu, in the Mahabharata and the Ramayana or the Itihasas, Nanakyan, different pastimes in the Bhagavatam and different Puranas, there is exactly like our character. We simply refer it, then we understand what needs to be done. And here, we have got material desires, that is fine, but where these material desires are ending, how long they are going to last, whether our body is going to absorb and enjoy all these desires, that is also one question. And also, are we ready to stake this human value, human life for the small desires? That is also one question. Of course, for our beloved ones, we spend some time for their well-being, that is there, but as much as needed only, not with all these things. Otherwise, it will steal. Ayur harati vai pumsam uddhanastayanna sau tasyadyat chinoita uttama shloka vartaya. It will rob the lifespan from our life. That is by sunrise and sunset. If we just think of the material desire to enjoy for our personal sense gratification. But anything, that's why amayo yasha bhotanam jhaite yena surata, that is like a disease, but how can that can be purified, how can it be turned into the medicine for the human? This is also says by Narada Muni. This is by engaging oneself all his activities, connecting with Krishna. You have desires, that is fine, but connect with Krishna first, make Krishna desires fulfill. First is the Swami Karya first, then automatically our desires also will be fulfilled. That is as simple as that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are at 9 o'clock. So if there are no questions, then we shall conclude our session for today. Okay. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna, conscious night everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji.